Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are in a new location now and we will be in this new location for a while. As promised, this video is about me answering all the important doubts that you guys have asked me about USMLE and the process. And I will answer this to my best knowledge. I haven't separately researched on any of this. So if you do want to learn more, I think it's best for you to do your own research, but I'll let you know how much ever I know from my experience. There are a few questions that I answered on the comment section of the previous video itself, so you can check those out. But other repetitive questions that I found, I have listed them down here and I'm gonna start talking about it right about now. The first topic I want to cover is CV building, what I did, what I plan on doing, and research and publications. So here's the thing, your research and publications depends more on the specialty you're going for. See, I am targeting IM, and IM is relatively easier to go for as an Indian medical graduate, which is why I did not focus much on my research. I started a project in second year, which is almost at the brink of publication right now. I helped another teacher with another project somewhere in third year, and helped another teacher with another project somewhere in fourth year. So these three are the ones that are there that might get published. Other than this, I did a bunch of case presentations, I think 3 or 4, and my research presentations in various conferences. But as of now, I did not get the time to publish them. But whenever I do so, which is hoping in the second part of this year or during internship, I'd like to publish those case reports, because at the end of the day, yes, your quality of research matters. It matters which department you're going for and why you're doing that research. For example, I want to go for IM, which is why I would like to do more cases and research projects based on internal medicine and medicine rather than surgery, for example. Always try to get primary author. If not, secondary author also works. Two of my projects I'm on one of my project I'm a primary author, and two of them I'm the secondary author, and I'm sure that in my case reports I will be the primary author because I'm writing it. And I do plan on doing more research in internship, probably one project, but that's about it, because I realized very soon that research wasn't my thing and I don't want to put in extra effort into getting a good research project. How to get a research project is pretty simple, at least in our college. You just have to have a general idea and the willpower to do the work. Approach a teacher, approach a professor who you know is gonna be with you throughout that process, and let them know that you want to do a particular project and they're gonna help you through it. That's about it. That's how simple it's been for me, at least. CV building, yeah. So fortunately my college offers a ton of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So all I did was participate in them since the beginning of first year. I participated in whatever extracurriculars that I knew I was good at. I took up responsibility as a CR. I took up responsibility as the head of my club. I took up responsibility as the organizing chairperson of one of our fests. You just have to find opportunities that are around you. If you don't have a college that supports a lot of clubs and committee-wise activities, then you can definitely look for a few NGOs around you and be a part of them. For example, in our place, there is VSO, which works, and a lot of people are a part of it. And honestly, it's nice. It's philanthropic work, and you're gonna have a lot of fun. So yes, go and explore. Go for competitions, do what you want. MBBS is also just another college. You don't have to put yourself through studies all the time. So the next topic I want to cover is about test anxiety, the stamina to get through the 7 hours of the exam, mental fatigue, and what the exam questions are most similar to. I am not a very mentally anxious person when it comes to exams. In general, yes, I am, but not when it comes to exams. So my anxiety honestly just manifests through my gut in terms of diarrhea and constipation. So there isn't much. If you're someone who's anxious and you know what tends to calm you down, then please do that. For example, me, I just used the washroom because I knew that that's how my anxiety is manifesting, and I have to curb that no matter what. There isn't a lot of it if you're prepared enough. And even if you're not prepared enough, you just have to tell yourself that this is pass or fail. If you pass, you're good to go. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. You just have to work in India or UK or someone else or somewhere else, just not the US. Don't stress about it, but that doesn't mean take it lightly. Just give the exam when you're at least 80% sure that you're gonna pass it. Honestly, 7 hours, it didn't seem so much because you have to be strategic in terms of how much your attention span is. Mine is less. So I made sure that after each block, I took a proper break. After first block, I slept for 15 minutes. After the second block, I slept for no. After the second block, I think I went and I ate my protein bar. And similarly, alternate breaks whenever I took, I ate something. And otherwise, I would just walk around. Don't see your phone, don't see any notes, nothing. Just walk around. The test center had some funny stuff and maps put up. I was just reading those. And I took at least 10 to 15 minutes of a break every time. 10 minutes for sure. अगर मेरे पास time था तो I took 15. My exam got done 1 hour before because I'd always finish a block within 50 minutes and then I'd take the 10 minute of the block time as my break. So I had an entire 1 hour of break left. It seems like a lot, so just don't think about it being 7 hours. Just think about this next 1 hour, the next break, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna be honest, block 6, I was decently fatigued, but I took a 20-minute break after block 6, and block 7, I was fine again. So my paper, I worked this through, okay? Listen, my paper was 50% free 120, 30% NBME, and 20% UWorld. So that's how I felt my paper was, and that's how I think a lot of people there feel that their paper was. Any regrets? I don't think I paid enough attention to reviewing the questions, but the moment I started reviewing it properly, life got so much more easier. Electives. People usually do clinical electives when they are in internship. They take a break from internship and go do the electives in US. I haven't planned on doing any of those as of now because I am still in my US or India dilemma. But when I do so, I would be starting the planning in internship itself or at the end of 4th year. As of now, I am going for a clinical elective to Europe next month. But this is by the college. So first of all, it's in Europe, so it doesn't matter for my CV as much. And secondly, it's not something that I actively applied for, so I can't give you too much insight into that. But I will be starting my elective application at the end of this year, and I will let you know how that goes. Next question is, how do you annotate first aid? So I annotate first aid with the thoughts that I'm not going to revisit this again. I'm telling you, I annotated the entirety of first aid, but I have only revisited, I think, 30 to 40 pages out of all of those, which are very, very important, and I tend to keep forgetting those. So I annotated based on, let me see, I read a topic, I watched a video on it. If there are any extra points in that video, I write it down right next to that topic. If there's any stupid mnemonic I can make for it, I write it down right next to the topic, and that's about it. I do not annotate it further. Flashcards and notes. So flashcards I made primarily on UWorld, and they were very, very easy to make and very, very useful. So once you get your UWorld, you'll know how to make them. Notes. So one thing I followed since my NEET exam is every time I get a question wrong, be it on UWorld, be it on any of my NBMEs, I would write down why I got it wrong and the concept behind it in my own words, in my own handwriting, in a separate notebook, because that way that concept sticks with me forever. And I read these notes, I think 2-3 days before the exam. I went through about 40-50 pages of just the notes I've made while solving questions during my MLE journey. Next, NBME scores. When did I schedule my exam and when did I give UWSA? So my NBME scores, I started with NBME 24 and that was, I think, 65. And as I proceeded to NBME 31, my scores were constantly increasing, thank God. I think by NBME 27, I had hit 70s, and 31 was actually one of the paper where I hit an 80. So those were my NBME scores, and I scheduled them every week until my exam. So I started giving my NBMEs 2 months before my actual exam. When did I schedule my exam? There was no indication or epiphany that I suddenly had ki, oh my god, let me schedule my exam now. I just knew that I was gonna procrastinate and it was gonna become very difficult for me to finish fourth year if I did not finish MLE by the end of March, which is why I booked my dates on the end of March. And this was when I think I had given 2 NBMEs at that point. When did I give UWSA? UWSA I gave 2 weeks before my exam. In between a bunch of my NBMEs, I had given that. My UWSA score was kind of shitty. It was, I think, 235. But not shitty, but still not the best. But I knew it was about 190, so that's good enough. And I was like, fine, let me do my NBMEs better. Next question. This one was difficult for me, so I will let you know how I managed. College internals plus USMLE. So my proper journey of USMLE started in January. That's when my fourth year started. Last year, USMLE was always an adjunct to my college internals, but this year my college internals became an adjunct to USMLE because I started dedicated prep by I think around the end of January. So for those 2 months that I had where I was dedicated prepping for USMLE, that is February and March. February, I think to a certain extent, I was still rereading everything that they taught in college on the same day. But March, I just attended college. I just attended classes and I did nothing else. Honestly, it got pretty difficult in March. So I would say that timeline worked out for me. But for you, just attending classes and making notes should suffice if you feel like you don't have enough time to study college internal stuff on the same day while you're prepping for USMLE. And most of the times when there's free time during college, like the teacher shows up late or they're wasting some time in posting, I would use that time to study for MLE. So you just have to be smart enough to get your daily goal done while you're attending college, because college internals help you so much with MLE and vice versa. You will never realize that. College internals and USMLE go hand in hand. Try to manage them as much as you can together, but if it doesn't happen and if it's too close to your exam, you can let go of your internals for a while and focus on USMLE. It's completely fine. I've been able to catch up for a good extent with everything that I missed during that 1 month. Final question that I have is about the resources. People have asked me if standard textbook help for MLE, and yes, there are so many MLE questions which are direct copy paste sentences from Robbins. I cannot even. So if you are someone who's reading standard textbook, you are at a greater advantage as compared to a lot of people, because standard textbooks are standard for a reason. And I am a big believer of standard textbook because they have worked for me throughout MBBS in such a beautiful way, which is why I feel like as much as you can read standard textbook, they will cover topics that a lot of books will not cover. A lot of videos and Marrow and everything will not cover. People have also asked me about Boards and Beyond and Marrow. So I was never a Marrow Boards and Beyond person. I did watch one video of Boards and Beyond, which was nice, but that's not my style of being taught, which is why I preferred not using that. One resource that actually was a little better as compared to the others were probably Sketchy. I watched 1 or 2 videos of Sketchy and I felt that, okay, if I had more time, I would have watched more, but I did not have more time, so I didn't. I got Marrow 2 weeks back, so I don't know about how much it would have helped me for MLE. Marrow is helping me for fourth year, for sure. If you get help from Marrow, even in third year, even for MLE, then take the help as much as you can. So don't worry about it. Any resource you use will not go to waste. Don't stress about resources. To add to this, I was a little surprised that people did not ask about the mode of application, because personally the most challenging part of USMLE for me was the entire application process, because I didn't have enough people to guide me through it. So the only thing that did help me throughout the application process was Reddit. I know Reddit can be Reddit, but throughout the application process, they helped me with a lot of things. And also, the people you are applying to are very responsive via email. So if you have any doubts, you can definitely email them and they will get back to you. Please start the application process at least 6 months prior to when you're intending to give the exam. If not 6 months prior, at least like 3-4 months maybe, because Application process was much more stressful for me because I wasn't getting half the things back in time. So yeah, you can definitely search up. There are a lot of videos about the application process and the current application process. I personally forgot so much of it because I started applying last year and then I took a break, so I really don't remember much of it. I would advise you to do your research on that, and that's about it. You don't have to take too much tension about USMLE. Again, as I said, it's pass or fail, and as soon as you're sure enough that there's a good chance you'll pass, just give the exam and you're gonna be fine. I have to go to. Is my bicep visible? Tricep. Okay. Burp. I actually have to head to class. Bye bye.